Hey, AJ from the Moto Academy here. We got Oakland Supercross, a place that I'm glad I didn't physically go to, but I watched it on TV. We're going to break it down for you guys today in a way that hopefully is a little bit different how you digest it. Coming from a pro racer, I hope that these clips and the explanation that I give you guys is something that you can actually take into your own riding and start to make sense of it, and maybe even watch it a little bit different when you watch these races on the weekend. If you want your riding footage analyzed, make sure you head to club.themotoacademy.com. Subscribe to the Moto Academy app. You can send in your own riding footage, any of your own questions, where I'm actually in there every single day, responding to all of your questions, responding to your riding footage, all of that good stuff. So without further ado, hopping in the first clip. We got Max Vohland pulling the trigger in the quad. I would have imagined he didn't do this until the heat race, which is pretty impressive to just jump something that big out of the blue in the middle of a race like that. Good pass by Hampshire. This was cool to watch because this was actually really clean race. This is the way that I like to race, right? So right here, he checks up, cuts across, could have T-boned him, could have actually probably hit him pretty hard right there, and could have made the pass easily, but just being smart, right? Showing a wheel just enough to create a little urgency on Hampshire's end. Really brave of Vohland to still quad this to the outside. He should have known that that was going to happen, but this is the type of racing that I like. Aggressive, creative, but not straight up dirty, right? You never really want to be racing a guy that you just think is going to T-bone you at any given moment. Like right here, Hampshire could have slammed him pretty hard, but good aggressive, quick pass on his own. And right here, just quick, good thinking by Vohland to cut up. If that was a last turn move, that would have been really, really beautiful. But yeah, I just thought that this was a cool clip to toss in. Just smart racing, clean racing. I like it. I like it. All right, next clip. Hampshire Crash leading the main event. Carmichael talked about it a little bit in the broadcast. This corner was inviting in that it wasn't a super tight turn. The rut wasn't deep. Probably the easiest place of the track. So somewhere that you could ride you just ride it aggressively, right? But the problem was the rut wasn't that deep, meaning you can only lean over so far until the bike skates out of the rut. Another thing that RJ should focus on in his riding is his upper body stability in the corner. So what I would recommend if I were his riding coach is to sit a little further forward. I know it's hard, it's blurry as all heck right now, but is to sit a little further forward on the seat to tighten his abs, which is going to pull his upper body more upright, and then to really square off and keep the elbows square the entire time. What that'll do is it'll make it so your head doesn't move. That's why Jet is so consistent in the corners, because he does all of those things. So when RJ starts to miss the rut right here, you can sort of see, although it is the blurriest thing ever, the first thing that happens is his inside elbow drops and immediately his head is just inside of the bike. So there's no chance of saving that. As somebody like, Sexton or Jet or Hunter that have really, really good upper body stability, that might not have happened. And for those of you watching, you just have to be patient in corners like that. I don't care how good that you are. Sometimes the track will only allow for a certain amount of lean angle before the tires just skate out of the rut. And you have to make sure you're in the rut before you begin your lean angle, which here it looked like he wasn't even fully in the rut yet. All right, next clip. We got 604 KTM. Oh, that was almost a really good save. He downsided the tough block, the Yamaha tough block, perfectly. But then it was that next one, the gosh darn Mike's Hard Lemonade tough block is what got him. Could this have been saved? Let's see. Oh no, the Yamaha tough block ripped his right foot off just enough to pull it out of position, and then the Mike's Hard Lemonade tough block finished him off. It threw him into a Superman, almost straight rhythm style. Now the problem is, he could have maybe saved that. The way he could have saved that, that's tough. When you Superman yourself, you want to make sure that when you come back down onto the bike, that you're coming back down with one leg here and one leg there. That is your only chance of saving it. I don't know if he did this intentionally, but he ends up with 1 foot here and 1 foot here, so therefore he's going to just be in that drag down situation, which was my fear at straight rhythm when I Superman myself, that I spread my legs so wide for a reason, to make sure that when they came back down, I was guaranteed that I was going to be straddling the bike, just to make sure I didn't kill myself. Now, with it just ripping his right foot off, it could have just thrown it just far enough off to that side where there was no saving it. Yeah, tough blocks are tough. They can save you. They can hurt you. This is a different angle, I guess. Oh, they just missed the shot too. Oof. So safest thing, honestly, that he could have done, he got out of it pretty good. Ooh, man, that still looked like it hurt. I think what I would have done in that situation is, if I realized that my legs were flying off the way that they were right here, he could have pushed the handlebars away from him really hard and let the bike just go for a ride, and he probably could have landed on his feet downsiding that jump without the bike. Easy to say in hindsight, so that might not have worked, but who knows? I'm not one for always tossing the bike, but in that situation, when you're flying off the side, it's kind of good to just maybe get it away from you. All right, next clip. McAdoo doing a good job of jumping those whoops really fast. Oh, was that dirty? Really good job of jumping the whoops by both of those guys, actually. And you could tell Pierce Brown saw it coming. He was trying to check up. I don't know if he was jumping the whoops in second or third gear. If he was in third, he's probably in a pretty tall... Oh, no, he got a downshift to second, so he was in third. You could see it right there. You could see him go downshift to second, so he is in second, which is good. He's on the brakes immediately. He's on the brakes right here. And McAdoo does just enough to wait. Yeah, I mean, that's a good move. It's kind of a little dirty. It's kind of a cheap shot a little bit. But, I mean, shoot. If you know that guy's good and you have them in a position where you can gently take them out like that, then why wouldn't you, I suppose? Those whoops look so difficult, man. All right, next clip. We're just firing through these. And I don't even know what I'm clicking into. I have not watched these ahead of time. Film guy Ryan edits these for me and then just hands them over. So I'm always seeing these when you guys are here. Jet looked great. Oof. That was interesting. So that was a lot of commitment on Jet's end. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Oh, I want to talk about that separately here. All right, let's go back to the top. So hitting the Dragons back probably in third gear, I would guess, because they didn't really have a lot of speed going into it. Coming out of this turn, you're in third. They're going to shift fourth right on that first whoop, which is pretty scary to do. I've been practicing that a lot this year. At the dog pound, we have a couple of sets of whoops. You have to shift on the first whoop. Really scary. But you need that to get the drive out of the corner. Jet carrying so much speed. What he's actually doing, and he allows sometimes his knees to drive forward maybe a little too far. Jet does. He shouldn't allow his knees to cave forward right there the way that he does. But the reason that's happening is he's decelerating so aggressively. He's downshifting twice. He's going from fourth down to second. So what he needs to do is just keep the knees a little tighter so they don't blow forward when he's getting those downshifts. But he brings them back to position where they should. Clean pass. Still able to get the 3 on. Both of them able to get the 3 on, which is surprising. And then right here, Jet knows that McAdoo's going to go in for it. And that's just confident riding on Jet's end. He just commits to this outside as hard as he can. And smooth by McAdoo. McAdoo could have probably ran it in and hit him. But he wasn't quite close enough to make anything happen. Then that jump looked like a big old pain in the butt. But a perfect case. So what you want to do when you case something is do the best that you possibly can to level the bike out, even if you're going to frame case it this bad. So what Jet does is right here at the height of his jump, he's going, uh-oh, we're going to case this thing. So watch his right foot, taps the rear brake, gets the bike leveled out, and then it's just getting your feet back to a really tight position, maintaining just a perfect attack position at that point, and hitting it front tire first, just barely, right? Just barely, basically with that bike completely level. And then just doing your best to absorb. Wow, that was a hard impact. But look how perfectly he does it. Had he not got that rear brake tap and lofted the front, it would have been such an aggressive impact, it would have just tossed him directly over the handlebars. And then this is what I'm talking about with upper body stability. I know this is last turn. He was just cruising right here. But look at Jet's upper body when he's in a corner. Look at how proper he is. And when he gets the head forward, when he's accelerating out of the turn, his chest goes with it. So he's almost leading with his chest instead of his head to make sure that his upper body stays that upright. Not many guys ride that way. That's the key to being consistent in a corner. Just a little tip. All right, next clip. This is main event, I'm guessing. Really interesting to see the way that I had my eyes on Jet the first few laps of this main event, just because Jet's a skimmer. And he basically, my advice to him would be skim almost no matter what, because he's so good at it. And we don't practice. I train with Jet every day. We do not practice jumping through whoops. We skim them all the time, no matter what. So stick with what you're good at. But he was jumping them really well and feeling them out. I think all the guys were. McAdoo was playing around with jumping and skimming, which was interesting. I think Jet started skimming the Dragon's back after a few laps, but felt it out. It's smart. The main event's long enough. There's no need to rush it. I just found that super interesting. This is a track you had to respect it. You couldn't just go out there wide open. And I did get some intel. I believe that these guys were softening setup a little bit throughout the day because of how chewed out the whoops were getting. If you had a bike that was as stiff as they normally run it, it would deflect and react off of these whoops a little too much. You can see Jet's bike looks stiff, but it's forgiving just enough to where it's eating into the whoop and getting traction, which is what you want. All right, next clip. Is this Tomac's twofer? Wow, such a nice square up, and then squares up again. So that's a brave thing to do when you had just passed a person. I don't know if he knew that he was going to have that much space on Plessinger or not. I guess he saw that Plessinger, the way that he rolled into that section, maybe he knew he was going to have the room to do it. My fear is when I'd squared up right here, I'd be afraid that Plessinger was on my right side, but he was nowhere near him. Wow. Now, speaking of a bike being soft enough to work really well in the whoops, Tomac's bike this entire year, I think, looks arguably the best because it looks plush. It looks soft enough to where he gets traction. It doesn't kick him around that much in the whoops. That's why the KTMs are usually good, because they're a little bit more plush typically. But look at how good his traction is going through those whoops. I will say that most of these Supercross guys are starting to, it seems, go back to more of a soft setup, where for years, at least most of my pro career, it was, let's see how stiff we can get this bike. Now I think people are realizing, okay, well, if you get the technique good enough, you still need the bike really stiff, but there's a sweet spot to where too stiff and it's deflecting off absolutely everything, and you can't corner it either, right? Okay, next clip, if I can find it. What do we got? Another Barsha takeout, so I hear. Okay. Cincerello jumping the whoops, but lofting them really high. Oof. Okay, let's watch that one more time. Dirty? Let's judge it. Scale 1 to 10. How dirty? How dirty? Gosh, just giving him no room at all. I mean, you're racing a guy, so I just said 2 minutes ago, don't give him room if you don't need to. And you also have to know, if you're AC in this situation, I feel like you got to know that that's Barsha behind you, number one. And if it's Barsha behind you, you've got to be careful with it. But he caught him at such a weird point in that turn where what was Cincerello supposed to do here? I have no idea. If he stops there, Barsha's hitting his front end and he's falling. If he keeps going, Barsha just keeps riding him off the track. Man, that's got to be frustrating for those guys. Because there's nothing he could have done, and it just ruins Cincerello's race. But I guess good pass by Barsha. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think. I don't know how I feel about it. All right, next clip. Oh, is this what I think it is? Oh, okay. So this is halfway or whenever Sexton threw it away in the main. Let's talk about the Dragon's back first, if I can get back to it. Because this was a good save. He's skimming up. That's probably third gear in a 450. I'm sure they weren't shifting fourth right there. Gets kicked on this one. he hits a little low. So he hits right in the cup, kicks him a little sideways. Then he hits that one pretty low as well with the rear tire and sideways. So naturally what that's going to do is it's going to kick you not only into an endo, but it's going to kick you back the other direction usually. Nope, it didn't. It kept going that direction. Oof. If he had if he had came up a little short, that would have been an endo. The reason why he saved this is because his front tire, I mean, he did clip it a little bit too. Oof. His front tire cleared it just enough to where it didn't throw him into an endo. Had he had been 3 inches shorter on that, it would have been a crash right then and there. Okay, let's talk about the actual crash. Let's watch it one time through first. Wow. Weird situation. Really weird. Play this through in slow-mo one time, and then I'll talk about it. We were talking about it today at the dog pound with Jet and Hunter. It's a triple single. The main line was 3-1, go to the inside, and basically hug that tough block as tight as you could, and then open up the next turn so you drift out kind of towards the mechanics area. He goes long here. He knows he's going long. Maintaining good position. Now, the argument here would be, and this is what the boys said as well, is you have to be able to make the decision to, if you're overshooting something, accept the fact that you might not be able to hit your preferred line for that lap. So what he could have done here is when he overshot it, landing just how he did without turning the bike, and then just hit this next single and aim for, let's use my mouse. His main preferred line would be, see this slippery, shiny spot right here? Probably right here. Instead, this lap, I don't know, just ride straight and make your pivot and your turn out here instead of in here. You're going to lose 0.2 of a second. He probably had a 4 or 5 second lead, if I'm not mistaken. That's fine. That's what you need to do. He's riding on such an edge that's tough. That's really tough. But you have to be willing to compromise sometimes. So what he did is he knew he was overshooting it. He lands and he's still got the bike turned and he's still aiming for that inside line. What it does is it pushes the front tire just enough and his inside elbow drops. So you could see both of his elbows drop and his head falls forward and to the inside. That position there, and his knees actually went with the bike as well. So in a perfect situation, his leg would be straight up above the foot pegs. You can see his knees are about 6 inches, maybe even more in front of that. And his head should be more squared with the front number plate, where at that moment, he's actually falling inside of his front number plate. And when he does that, it takes all of the weight off the back tire. So right here, as soon as he collapses, 0 weight on his back tire, 0. And so it just allows the bike to float into a 180. I mean, really bizarre way for it to happen, but he almost could have landed that. Yeah. I hate to see it happen. Chase is awesome. He's riding absolutely incredible, but that is a situation easy-ish to avoid when you're in race mode and going that fast. I don't know how. I go kind of fast-ish. These guys ride at a whole different level, so I can't even relate to the speed that they're going, to be honest. All right, final clip. Tomac doing something that I don't know if he's ever done, almost throwing it away in the last lap. Almost. And of all people to be right there behind him, of course it's Cooper Webb. And Webb, by the way, doing that quad out of that turn in the main event, incredibly impressive. Of all people to do that, I wouldn't have expected Webb to bust that out. What caused this in the first place? He's sitting kind of far back. Lot of chop, so you can see it. Right here, watch that back tire, chop, back tire falls into the hole. It rebounds. Yeah, I think it was just him trying to accelerate hard through that chop, and the back tire was never really planted the way that he wanted it to be. So when he crested over that, he didn't get that forward drive that he was expecting, and you could tell it was almost like he hit neutral, but he didn't. He just lost traction exiting right there. So it caused his whole body to cave. Look at his knees too far forward, the whole body forward. And Tomac is so freaking strong that that dude can hold on to anything. And then just trying to navigate off. Yeah. Impressive. This season has been so fun to watch. All right. It's getting dark over here. My lips are chapped. I got to ride tomorrow. It's getting late. Let me know how you guys like these breakdowns. Comment below. Let me know how you feel about each of them, right? Like this Barsha situation. Comment below. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. If you want your footage to be analyzed, again, download the Moto Academy app. It's freaking amazing. There's a whole community of people in there where you can share your riding footage and videos or pictures to everybody else inside of the app. We give away trips all the time. We give away race-worn gear each weekend. We're flying people in left and right. You can send in your footage to be analyzed. There's so much stuff going on inside of the Moto Academy app. It's awesome. If you don't want to go to the App Store, just go to club.themotoacademy.com. You can subscribe that way as well. All right, guys. And if you want, subscribe to this YouTube channel. That'd be helpful. It's brand new, if you guys didn't notice. Okay. Well, till further ado, Dallas next weekend, Arlington Supercross, Triple Crown. I'll be racing it, so hopefully I won't be breaking down too many highlights for me unless I'm winning something or doing something really good. Hopefully no breakdown crash clips on my end. I've already done one of those from Tampa. Okay. Toodaloo.